Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by Bell Tire. It is another spectacular day for baseball here in Kansas City. The second leg of the Tigers road trip comes to an end. Game 4 in this series today featuring the Detroit Tigers and the Kansas City Royals. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario Pemba alongside Rod Allen. Glad to have you with us for the series finale here. The Tigers, well, they haven't scored many runs in this series, Rod, but that's okay. David Price was pretty good last night, and today they go for the splits.
He was sensational last night, talking about Mr. Price, and that's exactly what the Aces do in Major League Baseball. This is going to be a really competitive series all year long. These are two of the best baseball teams in the country.
All right, how about Anibal Sanchez? He'll get the call here today for the Tigers. Really, when you look at his numbers historically against Kansas City, they've been off the charts.
Oh, sick numbers for Anibal Sanchez against the Kansas City Royals. Not many guys have done much against him, and they have a lot of left-handers in their lineup, and he's got that butterfly changeup. That's one of the reasons why he's had such a tremendous success against them. And his teammates, maybe they want to score some runs for Sanchez today. He'll be that much better.
That would be nice. Meanwhile, Salvador Perez awfully good for the Kansas City Royals. We have learned really over the past couple of years, and in this series, he's an outstanding two-way player.
You know, he's like the quarterback on the field. He is a tremendous leader for this Kansas City Royals squad. He is 24 years old. He is one of the more impact players in the game of baseball. He has got some mad skills with the bat. He'll go foul line to foul line with some power. But this is what does it for me, his leadership skills and the way that he leads a very young staff. They really trust him. He makes sure they get the ball where he wants it. And then once you get on base, I mean, you really can't run against this cat. He's got one of the best throwing arms in all of baseball. He's very agile behind the dish for a guy that's about 6'5", 250 pounds. This guy's a perennial all-star. He's already won 2 Gold Gloves. He's going to win the Gold Glove as long as he plays. That's how good this cat is.
All right, great day for baseball here. Great day for a Tigers win. After a short break, we send you back to the Coliseum Studios. Check in with John Keating. But coming up today, Tigers facing Jeremy Guthrie. They beat up on him last year. Hopefully more of the same today. Tigers Royals next. City this afternoon. The Tigers and the Royals wrapping up what will be a 4-game series. KC has won the first 2. The Tigers rebounding last night. We'll check out the Tigers starting lineup here this afternoon, presented by your Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. And for Brad Ausmus today, it's Ghost, Kinsler, Cabrera in your top 3 spots. Victor DHing, J.D. Martinez back in the lineup, and Cespedes, and a bottom 3 of Avila, Castellanos, and Iglesias. 3 career homers for Avila. Against the right-hander today, that would be Jeremy Guthrie.
And Jeremy Guthrie not off to a great start this year. He checks in with a .587 earned run average in his prior 4 starts in 2015. He's got a fastball, slider, changeup, curveball, an occasional sinker. He'll top out at about 95 with his fastball. Let's take a look at the Kansas City Royals starting defense. Is brought to you by Tim Hortons Dyson. And he is in center field this afternoon. Lorenzo Cain, he had occupied that position the first 3 games of the series.
Gerard Tyson is out there in center field. Lorenzo Cain serving his suspension, so he will miss the first or make it final game of the series. First game of his suspension is today. As you check out the standings of the Central, Tigers climbing back to within a half game of KC with their win last night. And Minnesota, they're playing some good baseball right now, back up to 500. They are 4 games back in the division. Another great day here this afternoon in KC. Our field conditions are presented by Ace Hardware and the Scotts Company. How about 80 degrees here this afternoon? It is warm, it is sunny, and well, it's a beautiful day for baseball.
Really, the last 4 days have been awfully nice here in Kansas City.
We've been fortunate to have, you're right, a 4-day stretch here where we've had great crowds. We've had, for the most part, close ball games. Yesterday's game was outstanding. David Price, in the end, was too much for the Royals. And here comes Anthony Gross strolling into the batter's box. It'll be Gross, Kinsler, and Cabrera here in the Tigers' first inning.
Anthony Gross had a really nice, productive day yesterday. 3 hits in the ball game, including a double.
Gross batting .322 with 1 home run. He has knocked in 7 this year, and on the series now 3 for 8. Jeremy Guthrie goes to work. And the veteran right-hander's first pitch of today's game. Ghost will send a ground ball to first base. 1 pitch and 1 out for Guthrie. Ghost is retired. That'll bring up Ian Kinsler. The one thing, even though the Tigers got the win yesterday, that they do have to be a little bit concerned about is their lack of offense in this series. They'd like to see the bats perk up.
Well, especially for the guy they have on the mound today, Anibal Sanchez. Anibal Sanchez has lost 3 games already this year, but he hadn't gotten a whole lot of run support in those games.
Tigers scored 1 run in each of the first 2 games, and then they won 2-1 yesterday. As Kinsler stands in, Ian looks at a ball outside, 1-0.
Several Tigers have some good numbers today against today's starter, Jeremy Guthrie, and Kinsler would be one of those.
Ian batting .333 versus Guthrie. That one is rolled to the shortstop, Colon. 2 ground ball outs to start this one here this afternoon. Here is another one of the Tigers hitters that has had success versus Guthrie. That would be Cabrera. Only 1 for 8 in the series. He does have 4 base on balls. Miggy's average now at .348.
The Kansas City Royals the last couple of years have done a very nice job against Miguel Cabrera. Prior to 2014, Miggy had really owned the Kansas City Royals pitchers, but the last couple of years they've done pretty nice work against Miggy.
Well, Miggy 3 career homers against Guthrie, .320 overall. Here's the 1-0 pitch. And Miguel looks at a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Guthrie is 35 years of age, out of Roseburg, Oregon, in the final year of his career. The Royals do hold an option on his contract next year. Here's the 1-1, and it's in for a strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Waiting on deck, Victor Martinez, should Cabrera reach. Now the right-hander with the 1-2. Just off the plate. Cabrera took a close pitch
And Guthrie, a couple of steps toward his dugout. He thought that was going to be called a strike by the crew chief, Dale Scott, the home plate umpire.
Here's the 2-2 offering. Miggy strokes one to center field, a base hit.
That's why they really don't pitch to Miguel Cabrera. They had walked him quite a bit this series because when they let him play, they really don't have anything to get him out.
Here's the Bernstein advantage pitcher batter matchup today as Victor Martinez strolls in, and Martinez certainly holds the Bernstein advantage. 353 versus Guthrie.
Yeah, well, maybe Mr. Guthrie is just what Victor Martinez needs to get him going.
Victor 2 out of 12 in the series. The average has dipped down to 208. 9 RBIs on the year for the Tiger DH. And he looks at a strike 0-1.
That's borderline pitch there. Victor thought it was low. If Guthrie's going to get that pitch all afternoon long, the Tigers bats might be in trouble.
Moving over now is Moustakas as they employ the shift with 1 strike in the count. And Guthrie a long look at first base, and he will throw back, sending Cabrera back to the bag.
Guthrie made 6 errors last year, which is a high total for a pitcher. But he does do a nice job at eliminating the damage of the base runners that steal against him, and he does throw over a lot, and as a result of that, the 6 errors last year for Guthrie.
Fly ball in the air toward left. This will be routine for Alex Gordon, and that'll take care of the Tigers in the first. No runs, a hit, 1 man left on our way to the bottom of the first inning. Anibal Sanchez, who is presented today by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Anibal Sanchez checks in with an ERA that's over 5, and that's an uncommon area for him. A guy that has 4 above average pitches with the fastball, curve, slider, and change, but expect that to change here tonight. He's had some good numbers against the Kansas City Royals in his career.
Starting lineup presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Gordon, Moustakas, Morales, your top 3. Kenry's moving up in the lineup. Hosmer, Perez, and Fonte. And then Orlando, Dyson, and Colon as Mr. Perez does some good work here at home this year. Sanchez goes to work. Here is Alex Gordon to start things off for the Royals. Royals decked out in their powder blue tops here today. Swings on the first pitch and pops it up. First base side for Miggy. 1 pitch, 1 away for Sanchez.
Let's take a look at the starting defense by the Detroit Tigers. It's presented by Bill Fox Chevrolet. Cespedes, Ghost, J.D. Martinez in the outfield. Castellanos, Iglesias, Kinsler, Miggy in the infield. 227 chances for the big fella over at first base, second among all first basemen, and he's not committed an error. He hits so much, Mario, we never really talk about how good he is over at first base.
Ever. And I think you're right. I think it gets overlooked. Moustakas showing bunts, and he'll look at his strike.
Moustakas already has 3 bunt base hits this year.
Tigers are employing the shift, but they do have the shortstop Iglesias protecting against the bunt. And that is fouled back out of play. Last night when we had Rex Hudler on the air with us, Rod, he was telling us that the Tigers are the only Central Division team that are still playing the shift against Moustakas.
That will change as soon as Moustakas continues to drive the ball the opposite way.
No balls, 2 strikes. That'll move Iglesias back, and that's fouled back out of play.
Moustakas has a total of 33 hits this year. 17 of those have gone the opposite way. He had 17 opposite field hits all of last year. Already this year he has surpassed that total.
Now Sanchez ready with the 0-2, and Moustakas ropes him on the ground right into the teeth of that shift. Castellanos throws him out. That'll be a 5-3 ground out. 2 gone. And it brings up Kendrys Morales, who has been elevated to the 3 spot in the lineup, the spot that Lorenzo Cain was batting in, but Cain decided he's going to start serving his suspension from previous altercations the Royals have been involved in.
Yeah, that means Lorenzo Cain will have 3 days off. They have a scheduled day off tomorrow, and he will miss the very first day of the Cleveland series. So Lorenzo will be well rested when he comes back.
Meanwhile, Morales sends a ground ball foul, bang that one off his foot.
And if you're Ned Yost, why not give Lorenzo Cain today off? His numbers against Anibal Sanchez aren't very good. He is a career 3 for 16. So today was a good day to give Cain to start that suspension.
Yeah, there are ways of manipulating those suspensions in terms of making it work as well as you can for you. As you mentioned, off day tomorrow, and then he'll miss the Cleveland opener. And then he'll be done. Sanchez with the 0-1. Swing and a miss. Morales unable to connect, and it's 0-2.
That's the pitch that has given a lot of these left-handed Royals fits. It's the butterfly changeup, and it comes out of Sanchez's hand very nicely. David Price had a nice change piece last night as well, and he got quite a few swings and misses on his changeup.
1-2 the count.
Boy, did they need that outing last night out of their ace, David Price.
Desperately. And he delivered when they needed him the most. The 1-2 fouled away.
It might see that changeup again from Anibal Sanchez after back-to-back fastballs to Morales.
There's David, who is going to enjoy this afternoon after putting up these numbers last night.
Yeah, Rajay Davis chilling with his do-rag on today.
Price would have had a shutout had it not been for the home run by Cain in the 9th inning. Swing and a miss.
There's that change piece.
Strikeout of Morales, and that is a 1-2-3 first for Anibal.
Justin White back here at Kauffman Stadium, where when we arrived this morning, the first Tiger out on the field getting his work in was David Price. Yeah, just more than 12 hours after he threw the final pitch of last night's game, there was David doing his work, his in-between starts routine. I asked Brad Ausmus about that this morning, and he said David Price is quite simply one of the hardest workers he's been around, and that includes the days of his starts. Price is always working at his craft, and certainly we saw the results pay off for Price last night, Mario and Rod.
We did, Justin. Thanks very much. And they say, Rod, as well, that he is the consummate teammate in the clubhouse.
He has earned the respect of his teammates. Last year when he came over at the trade deadline, it was a little different for him after spending a number of years in Tampa in their clubhouse. He knew he had leadership skills, but it took a little while before he was able to impart those kinds of skills on his new teammates, but he's done that.
Outstanding effort last night for Price, pitching the Tigers to a 2-1 win. And now a chance for a series split.
To be as effective as David Price has been throughout his career, making all-star teams and winning a Cy Young, you really have to take good care of your body and take really good care of your arm, which he obviously does. Talking there with the youngster James McCain.
Martinez, who had the night off last night, flares one in the air to right field, and Orlando is there for the out.
And here is David Price from last night, in case you missed it. And the Royals kind of had their way against the Tigers in the first two games of the series, but he was able to spot that four-seam fastball. He got all the way up to 97 miles an hour, but it was his changeup that was such a plus-plus pitch for him last night. He just simply dealt against a really good Kansas City Royals baseball team.
And it was a Royals team that really never got anything going. Really not too many scoring chances last night. And again, their only run on the two-out homer by Kane in the ninth inning. There's a tap in front of the plate that goes foul off the bat of Yoenis Cespedes.
Yeah, Yoenis Cespedes had a couple of infield singles in last night's game.
Cespedes is 3 for 12 in the series. He is tied for first in the American League in doubles. He has 9 of those already. And the average at a healthy 302. Here is Guthrie's 0-1. Low, 1 ball, 1 strike. Jeremy Guthrie, as we mentioned, in the final year of his contract. Be interesting to see where he ends up next year. He's a guy that takes a lot of pride in staying in great shape, really eats well, and as a result was pretty strong down the stretch for the Royals last year and pitched in the postseason.
He's a very intelligent fella. Went to Stanford, started his collegiate career at Brigham Young. He's got 4 above average pitches, and I mean above average pitches.
Drilled toward left field. Gordon is on the run. He's going to turn on this ball, and it's off the top of the wall. Cespedes on his way to second, and he's in there with a double. And that is his 10th double of the year.
What a really nice swing here by Cespedes. You talked about the fact that he's gotten so many doubles already, but he goes down and takes this ball basically out of the dirt and whistles it off the gate about 340 feet from home plate. That's strength. And then you know you better be getting on your horse if that ball's hitting Alex Gordon's direction, because he has gotten so many assists throughout his major league career.
That's a pretty good pitch there by Guthrie.
Outstanding pitch.
So there are your doubles leaders. Cespedes now has taken over the league lead.
When hitters hit pitches like that, that means they've done their homework. Had an idea that that might be a pitch that Guthrie would go to in that particular situation. And even though it was an outstanding pitch for Guthrie, Cespedes was able to get to it.
Avila, the batter, trying to knock in a run here as they play the shift on against Alex. Infante back on the grass in short right field. And time call now on Avila, or for Avila. He's batting 167 and 1 for 7 in the series. The 1-0 is lined to left field. That's a base hit. Cespedes coming to third. They're going to try and score him. Gordon can't come up with the baseball cleanly, and the run will score. Dave Clark very aggressively sending Cespedes, and had Gordon picked it up, there might have been a play, but he couldn't handle it.
It's a beautiful piece of hitting here by Alex Avila, taking the ball the opposite way because they're playing him to pull, but it's a nice piece of hitting. Gordon playing really, really deep. Great break by Cespedes off of third base, and it would have taken a great throw by Gordon to throw Cespedes out.
RBI number 5 for Avila. Castellanos looks at a strike. Nick batting .226. A couple of home runs. He is 2 out of 11 in the series. And a strike called by Dale Scott, the home plate umpire.
Even though Guthrie plays in a very spacious ballpark, he does give quite a few home runs up. And 2 years ago, Guthrie gave up 30 homers. Last year, he gave up 23.
Here's the 0-2. Inside, back him out of there.
And if you dip back a little bit further, only Bronson Arroyo has given up more gopher balls than Jeremy Guthrie.
It's a lot of taters. Guthrie's 1-2. Blocked by Perez. Early 1-0 lead for Detroit on the double by Cespedes, the single by Avila. Tigers trying to get Castellanos going again. Nick at one point had a 9-game hitting streak. Here's the 2-2. Just off the plate. 3 balls and 2 strikes on the Tigers' third baseman.
And Guthrie will touch 95 on occasion, but his average fastball, four-seam variety, right around 92 miles an hour.
He was a 13-game winner last year. 32 starts. 3-2 and the runner goes, and it's drilled to center field. Dyson is on the move, and he'll run it down in the gap. And they're going to double up Avila, who never stopped.
Yeah, he was not going to get back, so that's what you're taught to do. Just continue to run on line drives into the outfield when you're on the move.
And Dyson starts the double play, and the Tigers settle for 1. Lead on the RBI single, and we go to the bottom of the second now. The Royals facing Anibal Sanchez for the second time today. Hosmer, Perez, Infante 3, 4, and 5 against the Tigers right-hander. Hosmer was shut down in last night's ball game as he swings and misses.
Awkward looking swing at the 92-mile-per-hour two-seam fastball away from Hosmer. He hadn't taken many awkward swings this year.
Not at all. .315 batting average. He has hit 3 home runs. And Hosmer bangs that one foul off his foot. 0-2.
Let's take one more look at this play that ended that inning for the Tigers. Alex is on the move. It's a hit and run. And what you're taught to do is, if the ball's hit on the line, he knew exactly where the ball was. But the ball right here, when the play is made by the center fielder, there's absolutely no way that he's going to get back to first base. So what you're taught to do as a base runner, you just continue to run.
Two on Hosmer, who was shut down in last night's ball game. Hosmer, not a whole lot going on in last evening's game. He grounded out a couple of times, struck out, and very nearly took strike 3 there.
Ooh, nice swing back fastball at 94 miles an hour. And the ball can go a couple different ways as we get a look at this very close pitch. He can go fading changeup down and away and possibly get strike 3.
1-2 is fouled off.
Didn't get that one as far away from as he needed to. It was a changeup and it was down. It was located beautifully, but not outside where he wanted it. In the way that Hosmer is going these days, you can't afford to make mistakes to him.
Two balls, 2 strikes on the team leader in walks for the Royals. He has 13, and this is a Royals team that by and large does not walk. They would rather put the ball in play and make things happen that way. They are second from last in base on balls this year, but Hosmer has 13. He is their team leader. By the way, stay tuned for Tigers Live following the game when we select the Fox Sports Detroit Tigers player of the game, presented by the 2 for $5 classic quarter pounder with cheese. Sanchez brings home the 2-2 low, 3 balls, 2 strikes. 4 out of 12 in the series for Hosmer, a couple of RBIs. Avila flashing the signals. And a broken bat, soft liner right to Kinsler at second base. First out of the second here for the Royals.
We're going to make that our Bell Tire pitch by pitch. The confrontation between Sanchez and the very talented Hosmer. He's able to get ahead of him with a really awkward swing. Comes back with another fastball inside. Now he's not going to make a mistake with 2 strikes, so he gets a changeup followed by a couple fastballs, 1 inside, 1 outside. Finally able to crowd him with a good fastball, breaking his bat.
Here's Salvador Perez, Royals catcher, batting .333. And he's done some of his best work at home this year. .381 here at Kauffman Stadium. 15 RBIs. He has doubled in this series. Sanchez with the 0-1. Bouncing ball back up the middle. Iglesias, long way to get it. Look at that play. Spins, and he throws him out.
How do you throw the ball and you're not even looking at where you're throwing it?
Iglesias with another highlight reel play. A dazzler at short.
His arm accuracy is supreme. He just toys with people defensively.
He makes that play look as easy as anybody. I mean, that was an extremely difficult play, even though Perez not a very fast runner. Here's Infante now with 2 outs. If you're a Tigers pitcher, you have to absolutely love the guys playing behind you these days. You've got Iglesias, the shortstop. You've got Kinsler at second base. You got a couple of guys that can go get it in center field. Really strong up the middle for the Tigers. Here's the 0-1. Omar Infante is batting in the 6th spot today. Only 1 for 9 in the series. Has a couple of walks. Here's the 1-1. Sanchez, an ERA of 5.45 coming into the start today, which is an area where he's just not used to being. Won an ERA title a couple of years ago.
Omar Infante and Anibal Sanchez, they're buddies. As a matter of fact, they both a couple of years ago were traded to the Tigers together from the Miami Marlins. But Anibal Sanchez has not let up on his buddy. Infante 4 for 24 against Anibal.
Yeesh. Now they wait on a 2-2. Here it is, and it's skied in the air towards center field. Anthony Gose circling under it. Sanchez will have himself another 1-2-3 inning. Well, Jose Iglesias continues to shine at short. This is a dazzling play. And you're watching Tigers baseball today, presented by Bell Tire. Leading it off, and Anthony Gose and Ian Kinsler facing Jeremy Guthrie, who surrendered a couple of hits in the last inning, and he throws a strike to Iglesias. Jose batting .351, still good for third in the American League. He's had a couple of hits in this series against KC. Back to monitor. Guthrie pitching inside, and the count goes 1-1.
He did a lot of that last year as well, Guthrie. He hit 14 batters last year, which led the American League. He pitched inside aggressively.
Spins one inside, and the count goes to 2-1 on Iglesias. Guthrie made 3 starts in the postseason, 2 starts in the World Series. Little tap slowly toward third. Moustakas going to barehand, and Hosmer can't stay on the bag. Infield single for Iglesias. Fans, see the Tigers take on the Twins May 12th through the 14th and get 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 bags of chips, and 4 drinks, all for just $76. It's the Tigers Weekday Value Pack. Call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com. Here's Anthony Gose, who had a fabulous ball game last night, a 3-hit effort. And he tried to bunted right through it.
Yeah, that would have been a very difficult pitch to bunt anyway. Fastball that was firm, that was 90 up in the strike zone. All he would have been able to do with that particular pitch is pop it straight up.
A little bit of a speed element working now for the Tigers. Iglesias at first base, Gose at the plate. Fly ball center field, fairly deep but playable. Dyson cruising back. Runner will tag, and Iglesias will get to second. Just beat the throw.
It's good base running by Iglesias. Dyson in center field has a lot of speed, and it looked like to me that Dyson had more time to get behind this ball, which would have allowed him to get a better throw off to second base. He may not have been able to throw him off, but he did coast at the end of this play when he was catching it. Gerard Dyson in center field.
So Iglesias gets himself in a scoring position. Man, he plays this game with a lot of energy. He's already made a great defensive play. He's beaten out an infield hit. Now he's moved up on a fly ball, and there's ball 1 to Kinsler. Ian is 0 for 1 with a ground out. A Tiger win today, and they split the series and move back into first place in the Central. Bouncing in as Perez blocks it. 2-0 on Kinsler. Now the 2-0 pitch. Kinsler sends a ground ball to short. A hop there. Throw back to second. He is out. Throw to first. There's a double play. Iglesias didn't get back, and the Royals turn an awkward 2 for the time being. Let's see if the Tigers challenge that call at first base, or the call at second base. They were both close and certainly worth looking at. We'll see if Brad wants to review them. Either one of them, really. Ausmus waiting on Matt Martin right now, who's the Tigers' defensive coordinator. He's looking at both plays. And Brad's still waiting. Nope, Brad says forget about it. We're good. So the Royals turn 2. T-Mobile game changer this afternoon. How about Anibal Sanchez making his 200th career start, and this is where he is on the list of Venezuelan-born pitchers. Freddie Garcia has the most among Venezuelans. Anibal at number 200 today. Some good names on that list.
It really is.
A lot of talented pitchers coming from Venezuela. Here's Paulo Orlando, who comes from Brazil. And he takes strike 1. Orlando, Dyson, and then Colon. 1 for 7 in the series for Orlando, who's played in right field the last couple of games, and is again today. He fouls that one up toward the first base side. Is it playable? It is not. Back in the dugout of the Royals.
Anibal Sanchez so far in the contest is 7 of 7 in first pitch strikes to the Kansas City Royals.
Got a 1-2-3 in the first, 1-2-3 in the second, although Iglesias, his shortstop, helped him out with a terrific play.
Awkward double play to end that last half inning by the Tigers. Tigers have now hit into 29 double plays, which paces the major leagues.
Yeah, that one was not your conventional double play.
That one was very unconventional.
Here's the 0-2. And that's another pop-up that's going to head back in the seats. Well, the good thing for the Tigers is despite a couple of sellout crowds here the last couple of nights, they've pretty much kept them quiet because the Royals have not been able to do a whole lot.
That's what good starting pitching will do. It was David Price last night. Today it's Anibal Sanchez's turn to keep them quiet.
Sanchez ahead in the count, 0-2. And he missed low, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Anibal took the loss in his last start despite the fact that he pitched a little bit better. He went 7 innings, gave up just 3 runs. And the Tigers lost that game. Here's the 1-2. That bounced way in front of the plate, and the count evens now, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Waiting on deck, Jarrod Dyson. These are the 7, 8, 9 hitters for Ned Yost. Here's the 2-2. 3-2 now on Paulo Orlando. Pretty good year last year at AAA, hit .301 with 63 RBIs. Orlando getting a chance to play because of the injury to Alex Rios. He suffered a broken hand. He was one of their offseason signings along with Kendrys Morales. 3-2 is ripped toward left field, straight at Cespedes, who backs up.
Take one more look at that awkward double play that ended last half inning. If you're Iglesias, just over aggressive base running here, you have to know where the shortstop's playing. You're already in scoring position, so there's nowhere for you to go if the ball's hit directly at him. And giving Fonte a lot of credit. I mean, alertly grabbing that ball from the shortstop and then throwing it to Hosmer, who had to pick it on the other side.
Well, was that close at first base as Hosmer with the backhanded pick, and then Brad Ausmus says we will not challenge. Here is Dyson. Jarrod looks at a strike.
And Dyson started in the Thursday night game here and had a decent game. And this is the first time he's played since then.
He has hit safely in his last 3. Had a 3-hit game in the opener, 3 out of 4.
Also made an outstanding running grab in right field to take a double away from J.D. Martinez.
1 ball, 1 strike. Castellanos on the grass at third because of the speed of Dyson. Here's the 1-1. Jarrod batting .259 this year, stole 36 bags last season. In fact, he is the 9th all-time now in stolen bases in Royals history. Popped him up. The right side of the infield for Kinsler, back to the grass. And there are 2 gone, and time now for a game break. To the studio we go, Trevor Thompson. Thanks, Trev. Devin Travis, really? What a start he's gotten off to.
Did you ever really get a chance to talk to him or to meet him when he was playing for the Tigers in the minor leagues?
Yeah, well, no, a couple of times in spring training.
What a wonderful young man. I mean, it could not be happening to a better young player.
Tigers, of course, got Anthony Gose for Devin Travis, who is now starring with the Blue Jays.
Well, he wasn't going to play here, not with Kinsler. I mean, Kinsler's still under contract for a couple more years, and Kinsler's simply one of the best second basemen in the American League.
Didn't they have Travis taking some fly balls in the outfield?
They did.
No room at the big club at second base for sure. That's drilled in the air high and deep into center field, but it's going to be playable as Ghost backpedals in front of the warning track to make the catch. Colon is out, and another 1-2-3 for Sanchez, looking good today. Action today, protected by the sun, and they're wearing a Miguel Cabrera jersey. Speaking of which, Miggy leading it off, and he fouls it back out of play. Cabrera, Martinez here in the top of the fourth. Tigers got a run in the second, a run on 4 hits, no runs, no hits for the Royals. Now Guthrie with the 0-1, swing and a miss. Cabrera had a base hit with 2 outs in that first inning, but then Martinez flied out to end the frame. Guthrie comes back with the 0-2. Another foul back out of play. Cabrera is second in the American League in walks. He's got 17. Only Carlos Santana of the Indians has more. The 0-2. Just off the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Miggy also leads the American League in on base percentage at .449. Here's the 1-2. Drill to left field, base hit. Solid single for Cabrera. He is 2 for 2. Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. That'll bring up Victor Martinez. Victor flied to left in the first inning, 0 for 1, and now in the series is 2 for 12. There's a strike call. There's the shift that they play on against Victor. They give up the entire left side of the infield, and it's we talked about this a couple of nights ago. It is something you wonder about it. There's a base hit to right field as Victor finally gets a single into right over that shift. And it'll put two men on.
The Tigers have several guys with really good numbers in their careers against Jeremy Guthrie, and the two guys that are occupying the base paths right now, Cabrera and Victor Martinez, are two of them.
Here is J.D. Martinez, who flied out his first time up 0 for 1.
Yeah, Brad Austin has had to give J.D. Martinez a mental night off last night. He had been struggling in his last 4 games. The batting average was just 118 for J.D. with quite a few strikeouts.
Roll that one foul. I like the way Brad described the day off yesterday for Martinez. He said sometimes you just mentally have to get away and not even think about the game, and it's kind of like a day at the spa.
And
just
really,
relax.
yeah, and really what you do is you do nothing. Don't even pick up your batting gloves. No batting practice, no nothing. Just get away from it.
Here's the 0-1 from Guthrie.
Days at the spa are awfully nice.
I don't know about a day at the spa. I mean, unless he was getting a mani-pedi down there, I'm not sure it was a day at the spa.
Days at the spa are nice.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Sounds like that man speaking from experience.
It sounds like it. Guthrie now with the 1-1. Swing and a miss. 1-2 on J.D. Here's the ratio on Guthrie. Pretty good. I mean, he's throwing strikes. He's 2-1. Strikes to balls. He has gotten ahead now. 1-2 on J.D. Martinez. A little slow roller hit toward third. Moustakas will step back on the bag for the out there. Look at the force. If it was hit just a tad harder, he would have had a chance at a double play, but he had to backpedal for the bag.
And no doubt about that. That would have been the 3rd twin killing already turned of the afternoon by Royals defense. Kansas City's got a great defense. They're very athletic and one of the best defensive squads in the major leagues, if not the best.
That's how they have built this team.
I saw you did some math on the pregame show yesterday.
That was a mess, wasn't it?
How'd they talk you into that, man?
Defensive run save. We did a whole tutorial on.
You did a nice job with it. I checked it out.
Well, look, here's the bottom line on defensive run saves. Royals are a good defensive team. That's all we need to tell you.
Yeah, but the point you made about Lorenzo Cain, their center fielder, was tremendous, and just how much ground he covers and how many runs he saves.
Yeah, Lorenzo has a defensive run saved at 8 right now, which is tops at his position in center field. That's going to drop. Base hit. And Cabrera will get the third and stop there, or rather Martinez will get the third and stop there. But it's going to load the bases now.
Yeah, that's about all you're going to get out of Victor these days. He's got to go station to station, even though that ball was not going to be caught. And there was nothing for Victor to do, and basically Dave Clark forced into stopping him at third.
So they're loaded up now, and that'll bring up Alex Avila, who delivered a key hit back in the second. It was a single to knock in Cespedes.
Do you pay attention to some of the WAR stats? Have you gotten into a little bit of that stuff?
5 years ago, no, but today, yes, I'm paying more and more attention to them. Now, I will pay attention to the stats. The calculations to get to those stats are just way above me.
It is very much a part of our game these days.
Avila, with the bases loaded, checks his swing, ball 1. Well, you're seeing more and more, I think, of the defensive stats that are kind of creeping into the game, and with good reason. I mean, I think they shed some light on how teams like the Royals win games. Avila waiting on a 1-0. It's outside, and Perez thought about throwing back down to second base, thought better of it.
You always have to be careful when you're on the base paths, because Perez is one of the best throwers in the game.
Guthrie throwing from the windup here with the bases loaded. The RBI that Avila got in the second was his 5th of the year. Tigers now have 7 hits in this game. There's a drive toward the gap in right center field. Going to get down. Base hit. Victor scores. Here comes J.D. Martinez rounding third. He'll come around to score. Avila has a double. They're going to try and score 3, and Cespedes is in. Avila cleans the bases, and the Tigers have opened this one up. "4-0 Detroit."
Really nice job here by Avila, who's driven in 4 runs here today. Cespedes, who was running on first base, got a great read on this ball. Look at Cespedes. He's already at second base while J.D. Martinez is going back to tag. And then once the ball landed, Cespedes was running very, very hard, which allowed Dave Clark, the third base coach, to score him too. That ball was hit shallow into the outfield, and Cespedes scored all the way from first base.
And that is the 8th Tigers hit of this game today, and they lead 4-0.
We were talking about Yoenis last night and the fact that neither of us knew how fast he really was while he was wearing another team's uniform, but he's really showed some really good speed running the bases.
Give Avila a single on the play, 2 RBIs, and the throw allowed that 3rd run to score. In any event, 4-0 in favor of Detroit as Castellanos digs in.
How can they not give an RBI on that?
Well, they've only gave 2 out of the 3. There's a foul straight back.
I don't understand that.
2 balls and 1 strike.
Do you see a beef there really at all?
3 runs scored on the hit, so I'm giving 3 RBIs.
I don't even see how they could even question that. He threw it to the cutoff man. The cutoff man threw it home, correct?
Correct. That's what I saw. I mean, I marked down single 3 RBIs, but that is not the official score on the play. Here's the 2-1. High fly to right field. To the corner it goes. Orlando is under it. Near the wall. Runner will tag. Avila will get to third base on the fly ball. Oh, there's been an error charged to the right fielder, so there's your answer.
There we have it. Okay. Now we have it.
So an E9, Orlando got the error. So 2 RBIs, 3rd scores on the air. Here's Iglesias. 4-0 Detroit with a runner at 3rd and 2 outs. And Jose looks at strike 1. Dale Scott has a deliberate strike call. Iglesias a base hit back in the 3rd. Ball outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Anibal Sanchez getting something this afternoon that he really hasn't gotten in his last 4 starts, some run support.
Bouncing ball to short. Colon has it there, and that'll be it for the Tigers. Not before they get 3 runs. And we go to the bottom of the 4th. Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be when it's time. Come to Comerica. Jeep, come in for great deals in the award-winning Jeep brand SUVs during the Jeep Awards season events. And by Country Fresh sour cream and dips. Get real. Back here in KC, the Tigers moving now to a 4-0 lead as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. What a day for Alex Avila. He has 3 RBIs, a couple of big hits in this game. And now the top of the lineup coming up. It'll be Alex Gordon, Mike Moustakas, Kendrys Morales. Facing right-hander Anibal Sanchez, who has faced the minimum through 3 innings. 9 up and 9 down. There's a strike called on Gordon. He popped up his first at bat. Gordon, 2 out of 13 in the series, is now 0 for his last 10 versus Tigers pitching, so they've cooled him considerably.
And one of the ways that they get Gordon out is they throw him lots of off-speed pitches, whether it be the curveballs or the changeups, and he has had a difficult time in the past of staying back on those particular pitches as he pops up on that curveball right there.
Cespedes battling the sun out there, which is an issue today. 1 gone.
How about that catch? He's got the one hand up and he's battling the sun, and he simply catches it back basket style.
Check this out.
Yeah.
Where is it? Where is it? There it is.
Perfect how he did that, though. Not only did he have the hand up, but he had the body turned to the side, waiting for the ball to come out of the sun. You can't do it any better than Cespedes did right there.
Even when he loses one in the sun or is battling the sun, he still has some style. Here's Mike Moustakas. Bouncing ball right side again, right into that shift, and Kinsler handled it. Meanwhile, Sanchez cruising along, 2 gone.
Cespedes isn't giving Iglesias a battle for the mustard in the cabinet, is he?
You know what? I'm still going to go with Iglesias. Jose is as flashy as they come. Here's Kendrys Morales. Strikeout victim in the 1st inning. Royals have not had a base runner in this game. Sanchez goes to work against Morales, who takes ball 1.
Sanchez came in with career numbers that were just eye-popping against the Kansas City Royals. He's had several starts against them, but the ERA just a shade over 1.
That has popped up left side. Here goes Iglesias battling the sun. Tough play. Look at that play. Iglesias, well, he had it all the way. Another 1-2-3 inning for Anibal Sanchez, but Jose Iglesias putting on a show defensively here this afternoon.
summary, Avila has driven in 3 runs in this game. He's driven in Cespedes twice with a base hit to left field the first time, and then he comes up with another single in the right center field. Cespedes, who was on first base, came all the way around to score.
So in front of another packed house here in Kansas City today, the Tigers holding on to a 4-0 lead, and they will bring that lead to the top of the 5th, where it's Anthony Ghost to start things off for the Tigers. And Ghost looks at ball 1 outside. Kinsler and then Cabrera 1, 2, and 3 in the Detroit starting 9 today. Anthony 0 for 2, ground out, fly out. 1-0 is fouled straight back. 1 ball, 1 strike. Three-hit game yesterday for Ghost. It was his 3rd 3-hit game already this year. Now Guthrie with the 1-1. 2 balls, 1 strike. We were talking about Jeremy Guthrie a little bit earlier, and the fact that he went to BYU, went on a Mormon mission when he was in college. Between his stops with BYU and Stanford, he went to Spain in that Mormon mission. The 2-1. Pulled on the ground to the second baseman. That'll be routine for Infante. 1 out. And apparently when he went on that mission, of course, he learned a lot of Spanish. And these days, Rod, he actually serves as the interpreter for Yodana Ventura in his media interview.
Yeah, I've heard him give one. As a matter of fact, just a few days ago. He's a bright guy. There's no doubt about that. As a matter of fact, sometimes his pitching coaches say he's too smart for his own good while on the mound. Just kind of outthinks himself instead of just allowing the game to come to him naturally, because he's very, very talented.
I guess you can be a little bit too analytical in this game at times, you know, whether it's hitting or pitching.
For sure.
But Guthrie is also big in charity events within the Kansas City community. He, as we understand, was the only Royal that lived in KC in the offseason following their World Series run last year. Jeremy Guthrie. Here's the 1-1. Drill to left field. That's going to drop in. Base hit. So Kinsler joins the hit parade. And the Tigers have 1 on, 1 out.
Kinsler gets a base hit to left there, but I was having a nice conversation with Wally Joyner today, and he said how impressed he is with Ian Kinsler and the fact that a lot of his hits this year have gone to right field, to center field, to left field. He's made a conscious effort into turning himself into a complete hitter. He's always been known as a pull hitter, Ian Kinsler, but now able to beat some of those shifts because he's gotten some hits to right field.
Here's Cabrera.
We saw that with Ian Kinsler. I think it was our last television game down in Florida when he got 3 hits to right field.
Right.
And we could just see that this might be a different year for Ian Kinsler.
1 ball, no strikes on Cabrera. I think because of these shifts, we're seeing more and more players now and more examples of players that are learning to go the other way a little bit more. We've talked about Moustakas and Kinsler and Mark Teixeira practiced it in spring training.
You're right.
I mean, I really believe that these shifts are going to make some guys better hitters because it's forcing them to go the other way a little bit more.
It's a great point.
1-0 is a strike. 1-1 on Cabrera.
Meanwhile, this guy, number 24, really has never had an issue with using the whole baseball field. He's won 3 batting titles, a triple crown, MVP. You name it, he's done it.
2 more hits today for Miggy. A couple of singles. Got 3 hits in the series. And he drives that one high in the air to left field. Gordon is going back to the track, to the wall. He looks up and it's gone.
We talked about Guthrie and the fact that he gives up lots of home runs. 23 last year, 30 in 2013. Miggy hits his 3rd round tripper of the road trip.
Miguel Cabrera will take a tour of the bases. And for Miguel, that leaves him 4 home runs shy of 400 now.
And coming into play, Miggy was 1 for 8 in the series with 4 base on balls. And that's a changeup or a breaking ball that Miggy got out in front of and hit it right over the left field wall.
Splashdown. That is his 6th home run of the season. 396 now for Miguel as he continues his charge toward 400. And in the meantime, it's 6-0 Detroit. That is the 10th Tigers hit in this game. They have really supported Anibal Sanchez with some offense in this game here this afternoon. 1 in the first, 3 in the 4th inning. No, 1 in the 2nd, rather. 3 in the 4th, 2 in the 5th now. Victor, part of that big inning in the 4th, he had a base hit. Guthrie ready with the 1-1. Bouncing ball to the right side. That'll go into short right field, and Infante will throw him out. Two gone. Here is J.D. Martinez. It's the 9th time now the Tigers have gone 6 or more runs in a ball game. They're of course 8-0 with that much offense in those games. The home run by Cabrera, by the way, went 402 feet. And that is the first Tigers homer of the series. And it comes here in game 4. Wouldn't have thought that. 0-2 on Martinez.
Not with all the powerful bats that they have in the middle of their order.
Swing and a miss. JD is out of there, and that is it for the Tigers. However, Miggy goes deep again. Here comes number 496. He hit it to the fountains and left. Tigers baseball presented by Bell Tire. Eric Hosmer starting things off against Anibal Sanchez, who has been absolutely terrific here this afternoon. He has faced the minimum through 4 innings. The Royals have not had a base runner in this ball game, and Sanchez's numbers: no walks, 1 strikeout over 4 innings. There's a swing and a miss by Hosmer.
And Sanchez 11 of 13 in first pitch strikes. Tremendous command so far through 4 innings for Sanchez.
Hosmer, then Perez, and then Infante. Tigers lead 6-0. Strike called, and Hosmer is punched out.
What a pitch. Swing back fastball at about 93, 94 miles an hour.
May have gotten the benefit of the call there on that location, but it's a strikeout nonetheless. And here is Salvador Perez. Perez taps one foul, 0-1. He was robbed on a great play up the middle by Jose Iglesias back in the second.
Caught 146 games last year. Perez, a major league record.
Shattered bat, rolled back to the mound. And Mr. Sanchez will take this one himself.
And when you add in the postseason and going to the 7th game of the World Series, Perez caught 161 games last year.
It's pretty amazing. I mean, you do wonder, though, if a workload like that eventually will take its toll on a guy like Perez, even though he's still a young guy.
Oh, it's going to take its toll, and I think Ned Yost is going to have to back off of him a little bit this year and give him some rest, even though he's so valuable to their team. But you have to think about his career.
Here's Infante with 2 outs. Now the 1-0. Outside, 2 balls, no strikes. Sanchez supported with 6 runs on 10 hits today. Cabrera has homered. A 2-run shot. Avila has 3 RBIs. Here's the 2-0. Fouled straight back. 2-1 on the former Tiger. Infante has played in 3 World Series in his career. Of course, he played in 2 of them with Detroit in 06 and in 2012, and then last year with KC. Here's the 2-1. Popped up. Shallow right field. Kinsler back. And now Martinez calls him off. Another 1-2-3 inning for Sanchez, who's retired 15 straight. Detroit is brought to you by Bell Tire. Get the lowest tire price, period. Bell Tire. Myers, save big with M-Perks from Myers. Sign up at mperks.com. And by Chevrolet, find new roads. Great day for baseball here in Kansas City. It's been all Tigers in this one. They lead 6-0 as we go to the 6th inning. 6 runs on 10 hits. Detroit, no runs, no hits for the Kansas City Royals. Jeremy Guthrie back to the mound, and he will face Yoenis Cespedes, who sends a ground ball to short. Gobbled up there by Colon, who throws him out. One pitch and one away in the Tigers' 6th inning.
Let's take a look at the big boys, big play of the game. Avila already a couple of hits in this contest. This one came in the 4th inning with the bases loaded. Avila drove in 2, and the ball was kicked by the right fielder, Orlando, and that allowed Cespedes to come home and score as well.
Avila has jumped his RBI total to 7 with 3 today, and a ball missing inside, 1-0. Alex now has 3 hits in the series.
And Tigers already with 10 hits. They've already had several games this year where they've had 10 or more hits.
1 ball, 1 strike. Castellanos waiting on deck. Ball club has an off day tomorrow in Chicago. Then they start a 3-game series on Tuesday against the White Sox.
Good changeup there by Guthrie at 83 miles an hour. Circle change that faded down and away from Avila.
Tigers, by the way, are going to get Samardzija Sale in games 1 and 2 in that series. Then Quintana on Thursday. It's fouled off. 1 ball, 2 strikes on the left-handed batting Alex Avila. Bouncing ball foul right by Omar Vizquel. Guthrie now has reached a total of 80 in the ballgame. Here is his breakdown. 54 of them strikes.
And Tigers did a nice job as well last night with Edinson Volquez, the starter of the Kansas City Royals. They got his pitch count up really early in the game.
That's in the air, center field for Gerard Dyson. And Avila is out. 2 up, 2 down in the Tigers' 6th inning. Saturday, Major League Baseball on Fox Sports 1 returns with a doubleheader of divisional rivals, beginning with the Royals taking on your Tigers. And the Braves square off against the Nationals. Coverage begins at 12:30 Eastern on your home for baseball every Saturday, Fox Sports 1, and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
And Tigers getting some more national love next Saturday.
Yep, it's become commonplace around here. Castellanos looks at ball 1.
Not only on Saturday, but next Sunday night as well. The Tigers will get some more national love.
Nick, a couple of fly balls, 1 to center, 1 to right. And he'll hook that one fair down the left field line. That's going to roll to the corner. Gordon will dig it up, and Castellanos is in safely standing with a double. 2 out, 2 base hit for Nick, and that'll be 11 Tigers hits.
It's a good swing by Nick. That's a 2-seam fastball that's inside that he turns on. And anytime you hit the ball to left field with Gordon out there and the way that he can play left field here, you better be hurrying to get to second base.
Andrew Romine is going to hit for Iglesias. Romine pinch hitting for Iglesias. Did you notice if Jose got hurt anywhere?
I didn't notice anything.
I didn't either. If you get any word, we'll pass it along. Meanwhile, Romine 6 for 9. He had that 4-hit game in Minnesota. Shoot that one in the air to left. Gordon started back. Now he comes in. That'll end the inning. No runs, a double to stranded. 5.5 in the books as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Still 6-0 Detroit.
steal of the game, and Jose Iglesias has made a couple of really nice plays in the game already. One of ground balls that he went up the middle to get, and then he ranged in the left field to catch a pop-up. So Iglesias flashing some leather here this afternoon, but he's out of the game, which is surprising due to the fact that the way that Anibal Sanchez is pitching.
Romine taking over at short after pinch hitting for Iglesias. Here's Paulo Orlando to lead things off in the bottom of the 6th inning for the Royals. 6-0 in favor of the Tigers. And that's fouled back out of play, 0-1. Orlando, Dyson, and then Christian Colon. Line out back in the 3rd for Orlando. Nothing but 1, 2, 3 innings today for Anibal Sanchez. Swing and a miss.
Outstanding breaking ball. He's got everything working here. The swing back fastball at 94. He's got the changeup that goes one way, the breaking ball that goes the opposite way. And when you have all this working for you, you're going to put up some really good numbers.
Here's the 0-2. It's down the right field line. JD might have room. No, he won't. A couple of rows back. Well, we gave you the numbers on Sanchez against the Royals in his career, an ERA of 107. And that was over 50 innings of work coming in.
Yeah, that's not a small sample.
No, and as you might expect, he's pitched well in this ballpark also. His ERA shade over 1 in this park. Brandon Finnegan is warming up, the left-hander for the Royals. Here's the 0-2. Way inside, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, this time last year, Brandon Finnegan was pitching in college at TCU, getting ready for the College World Series.
Here's the 1-2. Bouncer back up the middle into center field. Base hit. First hit of the ball game. Paulo Orlando right back through the box.
He has had the best 2 at-bats today against Sanchez. He lined out sharply to Yoenis Cespedes his first time up today, and then Sanchez hung him a breaking ball right there, and just a really good swing by Orlando. Hit it right back up the middle.
5 perfect innings for Sanchez, and it's broken up here with the leadoff single in the 6th.
And the Tigers, a couple nights ago in that game that Chris Young started for the Royals, they didn't get their first hit until the 8th inning.
Right. There's a Castellanos base hit. Dyson is in there, looks at a strike.
And first pitch change piece to Dyson. He got Dyson to pop up his last time up to the second baseman, Ian Kinsler, on a changeup.
But outside, and the count now on Gerard Dyson. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pop up to Kinsler in the 3rd, makes him 3 for 5 in the series. Bouncing ball right side. Kinsler spinning to second. There's 1. All they will get. Dyson aboard in the fielder's choice.
Here's our high-speed pitch on Anibal Sanchez, and it's brought to you by Xfinity. He's gotten all the way up to 95 with his 4-seam fastball this afternoon.
Here's Colon. Flying to center field, deep center field his first time up. Dyson drawing a throw. Good pitch, drops in for a strike, 0-1. Colon was the number 4 overall pick by the Royals in 2010, just a few years back. Bryce Harper went number 1 overall that year. Jameson Taillon number 2, and then Manny Machado number 3. That's how highly thought of Colon was. He went 4.
Under Dayton Moore, their general manager, the Royals have done a superb job with their high draft choices. You know, guys like Moustakas and Hosmer, and you mentioned Colon, all of them making it to the major leagues. Gordon, a former #1 draft choice.
Building through the draft. And it'll get back into the seats.
And their winning percentage just continues to get better and better and better. It's going to be a really good team for a number of years.
And it's not like the minor league system is empty either, because they have some good prospects. And the Royal system does. In the pitching department. Here's the 0-2. Way high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. On Colon. Sanchez had retired 15 straight to start this game. And then Orlando's single to start things off here in the 6th. Another throw. Colon out 3 for 11 in the series. He does have a stolen base and an RBI. Trying to extend his hitting streak. Runner goes, and it's looped in the air to center field. Goes on the move. He'll make the catch, fall down as he throws the ball back in, and Dyson will be able to get back to first. 2 gone now. Time for a game break. Let's go to Trevor Thompson. All right, Trev, thanks very much. Here it is, 6-0 in favor of the Tigers. And Alex Gordon will step in now with Dyson at first. Gordon is 0 for 2, pop-up flyout.
If you're a Sanchez, you may as well not pay a whole lot of attention to Dyson. If he wants to run, he's going to steal the base successfully.
Ball 1. Gordon now is 0 for his last 11 in this series here. Tigers pitching has stopped him easily the last couple of nights, which has aided their cause. And he fouled that one back. 1 ball, 1 strike. There was a time when Alex Gordon came up as a high round draft choice. He was the next George Brett, was the third baseman. Things just weren't working out, and back in 2010 they decided, let's make him a left fielder. And it didn't go over all that well early on, but Gordon has really, and there's George Brett, has really taken the outfield. Has won some Gold Gloves 4 in a row now.
Well, the one that was in charge of helping him make that transition is their first base coach, Rusty Coombs. And he said the footwork that Gordon already had at third base really allowed him to be a really good left fielder.
There's a ball outside.
Rusty also told me because of that footwork that Gordon does have and the athleticism, that's why he gets so many assists in the outfield. Not that he has a great arm, but he's got really good feet. He gets set, and he's got a quick release.
Rusty back in 2010 was one of their roving instructors, and it was his job to, I guess, turn Gordon into an outfielder, a big league outfielder.
He did just that.
I mean, it's sometimes it's the things that coaches do that don't get the credit that it deserves. And Gordon has gone on to be a terrific big league player. And one of the reasons is the guy on deck, Mike Moustakas. He was coming up through the minor league system. It's down the left field line and back into the seats or against the wall. So Moustakas was coming hard in the minor league system, and they had Gordon at third base, and the move to the outfield has worked. Dyson was on the move there. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Runner goes. Hit right back up the middle. Romine was going to the bag to cover. And he hit it right at him, and Gordon can't believe it. 6 in the books. 6-0 Detroit. Stadium. All Tigers today, all Sanchez today. He's allowed just the 1 hit. And then retired 15 straight before a base hit by Orlando. Here's the wall side windows pitching change now. It's left-hander Brandon Finnegan.
And Finnegan did something last year that no one had ever done in the history of the game. He was in the College World Series for his college squad, TCU, and he also appeared in the World Series with the Kansas City Royals. That had never been done before.
Trendsetter Brandon Finnegan out of Fort Worth, Texas. Eric Kratz is the new catcher, so Perez, they're getting him off his feet the rest of the day. Anthony Gose will start things off. We're getting word now on Iglesias and why he departed the game. Left groin tightness, so he is day to day. Ball 1 inside to Gose. Anthony today is 0 for 3 following his 3-hit performance yesterday. Here's the 1-0 off the end of the bat, foul.
Finnegan's got a good arm. That last fastball to Gose registered at 95 miles an hour.
Finnegan got his first pro win in the postseason last year, game 2 of the ALDS. Little chopper hit slowly towards second. Barehanding, and Fonte throws him out. Nicely done.
It's the only play that Omar had. It was to barehand it to get Anthony Gose, who has good speed, and you have to make a determination in your mind that you're going to do this very early. He had no time to catch it in a more conventional way with the glove, then transfer and then get the out.
That'll bring up Ian Kinsler. Ball low. Royals are still waiting on the return of Luke Hochevar, but it's getting close, and they say that once Hochevar comes back, somebody obviously has to go down to the minor leagues, and Finnegan may be a choice. He still has plenty of options, still very young.
Yeah, that's all the Royals need is another bullpen arm. They already have the best bullpen in the majors, don't they?
No kidding. Here's the 1-0. There's the strike call. Well, we saw Chris Young come out of the bullpen to pitch against the Tigers in the first game of the series and do well. Also waiting on Chris Medlin to come back. Did he go? Yes.
Chris Young might just start getting a few more starts for Kansas City if Guthrie and Jason Vargas don't get themselves sorted out.
Yeah, 4 and 5. They've had some troubles. Vargas and Guthrie. Swing and a miss. Right up and around the letters. He threw it by Ian Kinsler.
Menard is proud to bring you the big money encounter, and it came in the 5th inning. It was Miguel Cabrera at the plate, and it was Jeremy Guthrie on the mound. And Miguel circled the pillows this afternoon for the 3rd time on the road trip.
Finnegan starts him off with a strike 0-1.
And as you mentioned, Miguel Cabrera 4 home runs shy of 400. It's kind of fascinating, really, though, when you just kind of think about what Miggy has done in a baseball uniform.
He's only 32.
I mean, the batting titles. I mean, he's won 3 batting titles. He wins MVPs, the Triple Crown. It's just the versatility. You don't usually equate guys that are hitting 400 and 500 home runs with guys winning batting titles.
That's a good point. Of course, he won that Triple Crown, or he clinched it right here in Kansas City a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and the fans were really good to him, too.
1-2 on Cabrera. Off the plate, 2-2. Finnegan replacing the starter Guthrie, who threw 85 pitches in this game, and departs after 6 innings, allowing 6 runs on 11 hits. Swing and a miss. Carved up Cabrera. 1-2-3 go the Tigers. Stretch time here in Kansas City with the Tigers up 6-0. Nothing is our score. The Tigers have out hit the Royals 11-1. Sanchez, man, magnificent this afternoon. Alex Avila with 3 RBIs. Miguel Cabrera with a home run in this game. He totaled it all up. It's been a pretty good day, Ron Allen, for the Detroit Tigers. And, well, it's been a great day for Anibal Sanchez. I know you and I both had that feeling, uh-oh, we may have a no-no going here.
I did. He made that one mistake, a breaking ball up to the right field of Orlando. But other than that, he's been spectacular here today with his first pitch strikes. good changeup, good breaking ball. He's been dominant in his career against Kansas City.
You know, even though we've talked about other people have to step up, and Miguel Cabrera has 3 hits today, but somebody else has stepped up, and that would be Alex Avila.
What a day for Avila. I mean, he came in with a batting average that was quite low, but they overshifted him all the time, but he took a base hit the opposite way his first time up, but he's driven in 3. But the one thing about Avila that just can't get lost in the translation is what he does for the pitchers. He held this team to 1 run last night catching Price. Today he's done the same thing catching Sanchez. Well,
the Royals made a statement here the first 2 games of the series. Maybe the Tigers are making a counter statement now.
I think so. I think it's going to be like this all year. I really do. You know, we've talked about these 2 teams. They're different. I think the Tigers have an edge as far as starting pitching is concerned. Royals have that edge in the bullpen. Tigers probably have a better offense overall, even though Kansas City right now is doing a really good job. But it's just going to be a really competitive year between the 2 squads.
Yeah, and you really can't overstate the confidence factor the Royals have picked up going to the World Series last year. But they've been pretty much handled here today. As Mike Moustakas leads it off, Sanchez back to the hill in the bottom of the 7th. 6-0 Detroit. And Moustakas looks at strike 1.
You know, we were talking about George Brett last half inning and the impact that he had on Alex Gordon when Gordon came up as a third baseman. He's really had that same kind of impact on Mike Moustakas the last couple of years. Moustakas obviously is a third baseman. George Brett has a uniform on during spring training, and he's always in the ear of Moustakas. And some of that has finally showed up on the baseball diamond this year.
Well, you know, we have the great Al Kaline in Detroit and the great Willie Horton, but how about this for a guy that could be in your ear and a valuable resource, George Brett. Hall of Fame third baseman. That is rolled foul down the first base line. 0-2 on Mike Moustakas, who has really perked up this year compared to his first 4 seasons in the major leagues.
Yeah, this year he is up to .337 with an on base percentage of nearly 400.
Here's the 0-2. Swing and a miss to strike him out. Sanchez takes care of Moustakas. 1 gone.
Only the 3rd strikeout so far this afternoon for Sanchez, and that's why the pitch count is in superb shape. He's only thrown 76. And usually Sanchez, one of those guys that's striking out 8, 9 in a game because his stuff is so electric. Therefore, the pitch count gets up to 100 by this time right now.
We said the exact same thing yesterday for David Price, who also struck out just 3 in his dominant performance.
Ooh, that change piece.
Kendrys Morales is 0 for 2 strikeout pop-up.
Him and David Price both had really good changeups. Price had a good changeup last night. Sanchez today has a good one.
Now the 0-1. Only 1 hit today for the Royals, the single by Paulo Orlando in the 6th inning. Here's the 1-1 offering. Lifted back out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Morales. Kendrys had to wait quite a while to sign a contract last year. Didn't sign till June because teams did not want to give up a draft pick to sign him. Finally, Minnesota did mid-season. Spent some time in Seattle as well last year. But neither team got what they hoped they would get. The Royals have, and I think one of the reasons is he had a full spring training to go through this year.
Yeah, it was unfortunate for him last year because when Minnesota signed him last year, they couldn't send him to the minor leagues. They had to keep him in the big leagues and start playing him right away, even though he had not had a spring training. Because of the rules, they could not send him down to the minor leagues. So here you haven't played in 4 months, really the all offseason. You haven't played, right? And all of a sudden you get signed, and then all of a sudden you're in a big league game that next night.
Yeah, going against the best pitching in the world, too, on a nightly basis. Here's the 3-2. They walked him, so Kendrys Morales gets a 1-out base on ball. First of the game now for Anibal. Hey fans, the only way to get an Alan Trammell replica 1984 road jersey is to visit tigers.com/jersey and buy a special package to see the Tigers battle the Royals May 8th through 10th. Exclusive packages are available only at tigers.com/jersey. So check that out and score a road Alan Trammell jersey.
It's good to have Alan Trammell back in the organization. We've seen him one of the stops. Well, we've seen him in the big leagues. He's down watching some minor league players now.
He is. Saw him in spring training. Saw him at Tiger Fest Caravan. It's really good to see Tram back wearing the Old English D. Here's Hosmer. Been a tough day for Hosmer. 0 for 2. He did hit a ball toward the second baseman on the line, Kinsler, but then struck out his last at bat. Fouled away. No balls, 2 strikes.
He just has Hosmer off balance today. He's out in front of the off-speed pitches, and he's a little tardy on the fastballs, and that's the definition of pitching, keeping the hitter off balance by changing speeds.
Off the plate, 1-2 the count. Eric Kratz waiting on deck for KC. Here's the 1-2. Missed again. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Hosmer went hitless in the ball game yesterday, and that snapped a 12-game hitting streak that he had against the Tigers. And nothing doing for him today as well. Out in front of that
Ephus changeup.
Yeah, he just got a piece of it.
He did. He's smiling at Sanchez on that last pitch. Like, what was that?
He went down to a knee just to swing the bat.
And when you're good, like Hosmer is, they have to figure out ways to get you out.
Ripped down the right field line. Fair ball, going to go to the corner. Morales motoring to third base. They will stop him there. It's a double for Hosmer, and that'll leave Royals now at second and third.
That is the 6th double of the season for Hosmer. That changeup was the previous pitch at 70 miles an hour. Then Sanchez came back with a fastball that was up, and he laced it down in the right field corner.
So this would have been a spot now for Salvador Perez, but Kratz came on to take over for him defensively and assumed his spot in the lineup.
And we were talking about Perez a couple of innings ago and the amount of work that he has put in as a catcher. And Ned Yost's going to have to spell him on occasion.
High fly ball center field. This will be deep enough to get a run in. Ghost backing up all the way to the warning track. Morales will score. That'll be the first run of the ball game for KC. It is 6-1. Kratz gets an RBI. Also moving to third was Hosmer, and there are 2 gone. Here's Omar Infante. Sanchez finally allows a run here in the 7th. He did not allow a hit until the 6th. It's ball 1. Angel Nesbitt warming up, along with Gorzolani, the lefty-righty combination. The 1-0. 1 ball, 1 strike on Infante. Omar, a couple of fly balls, 1 to right, 1 to center. The crowd is just begging for something to cheer about. They finally got a run in here in the 7th. Here's the 1-1 from Sanchez. Checked it low. 2 balls and 1 strike. And will bring Avila out to the mound.
Appeared that Avila must have got crossed up on that last pitch.
We've got another sellout here today. Their 5th of the season. 38,326. Here's the 2-1. On the ground, back up the middle of the center, base hit. That'll get Hosmer in. And well, it's a 6-2 ball game.
Omar Infante was 4 for 26 in his career against Anibal Sanchez before that base hit. It's a fastball that's up out over the plate that Omar Infante able to hit right past Andrew Romine. Sounded like he broke his back, too.
Yeah, sure did. Only the 3rd hit given up by Sanchez in this game as Jeff Jones comes out to have a chat. So the Royals trying to get back into this game. Here's Paulo Orlando. Six-2 ball game. Orlando was single and a line out. He picked up their first hit, leading off the 6th.
He's had 2 good at-bats today against Anibal. Lined out sharply to left field his first time up.
Sanchez surrendering a walk, a double, and a single in this inning. That'll bounce in. 1 ball, 1 strike. Five pitches now for Sanchez, and here is his breakdown. 65 of them have been strikes. The 1-1. Bouncing ball to 3rd. Backhanded pick there by Castellanos, who goes to 2nd. And it'll end the inning. 2 runs in for the Royals. We go to the 8th. When they complete game last night, Ron, and Sanchez, well, it's been awfully good here today.
It's funny, you know, the first couple of games of the series, it was a pitching for the other team that kind of slowed down Tigers' bats. But last couple of days, Tigers' bats have woken up, and then you've had a couple of really good pitching performances out of Price and Sanchez.
You know, the Tigers are 6 outs away from earning a split in this series after dropping the first 2.
And we'll give the Tigers their first split as far as a series is concerned. They've won all but one series. They lost the series to the Yankees. And the Yankees took 3 of 4 from Detroit.
Victor Martinez, J.D. Martinez, Yoenis Cespedes in the Tigers' 8th. 6 runs on 11 hits for Detroit, 2 runs on 3 hits for the Royals. And the first one from Finnegan is high and away on Victor.
And many of these Tigers are seeing Finnegan for the very first time. So you could watch a guy on video and you could talk to Wally Joyner and get the scouting report on him all you want, but until you get in that batter's box and you face him, you don't really have a good idea of what his action on his pitches is doing.
Finnegan in the regular season last year threw only 7 innings and struck out 10 in those 7 innings.
And he's got good stuff. I mean, he threw Miguel a changeup to strike him out, and he threw a 95-mile-per-hour fastball up there as well. That one 96.
Well, he's gone 3-0 now on Victor Martinez.
And Victor might just take a whack at this fastball. He might.
Didn't like it. It's ball 4. 4-pitch walk for Martinez. We'll bring up J.D.
I guess we brought this up last night, and I guess it's not going to be a topic of a pitch running for Victor late in games. Tigers have a lead. I guess what Brad is thinking, no need in taking Victor out of the game right now. But it was a 1-run game last night. We brought it up.
Yeah, that really makes you think at that point when you really need a run, whether you're up 1 or down 1. Tigers up 4 here, though. Here's the 0-1. He'll get back in the seats. And it's 0-2.
But I guess the more Victor plays, the stronger the knee will get. He'll get back to it being the Victor Martinez that we watched the first 4 years in a Tigers uniform.
Well, that's the plan, and I think it's going to be imperative for that to happen. Martinez came in batting .208. He's picked up a 1 for 3 in this game.
Yeah, Victor is a career .300 hitter, and not only batting left-handed but right-handed.
Here's the 0-2. Swing and a miss. So J.D., who fouled it saying it hit the ground, is not going to get an agreement from Dale Scott. He's out.
And J.D. going through it right now. That is 13 strikeouts for J.D. Martinez in his last 5 games.
He is fanned twice in this game.
Meanwhile, Finnegan's got some good stuff. I mean, he got a nice little breaking ball to 84. He had a really good changeup that he threw to Miggy, and he's already touched 96. You can see how a guy pitched in the College World Series last year and then ended up pitching in the World Series with his team in Major League Baseball. First time that ever been done in the same year.
Cespedes, a single, a double, 2 runs scored. Bouncing ball, third base side. Moustakas goes to second. There's one. Relay. Got him. Well, that was close at first base. They swing it around the horn. 5-4-3. And here come the Royals to the bottom of the 8th. 6-2 Detroit.
of the game. Anibal Sanchez has given up only 3 hits to the Kansas City Royals here, but they have scored a couple of runs. But he's been on point with everything that he's featured, whether it be that really good changeup, the swing back fastball, or the slider or the curveball. Every single pitch has worked to perfection this afternoon for Sanchez.
And so Anibal goes back to the mound now as we go to the bottom of the 8th, and the first pitch is popped up. Heading back to the seats. Is there room? And there is not. Right back into the dugout, out of the reach of Castellanos. 6-2 Detroit. Dyson, Colon, Gordon, the 3 batters to face him.
A huge reason why Sanchez is having so much success today. He is 21 of 26 in first pitch strikes to the Royals, and when you have all your pitches working for you the way that he does, he is exploiting their weaknesses today.
Dyson is 0 for 2 in this game. 1 ball, 1 strike on the speedy outfielder.
That's the second little Ephus off-speed pitch he's thrown. He threw one to Hosmer last half inning at 70 miles an hour. That one was to Dyson at 69. If Alex would have caught that, that might have been a strike.
I was thinking the same thing. It looked like it was over the plate.
It sure did.
One ball, 2 strikes.
And Tigers can go back into first place today with a win.
They can indeed. Back to square one where we were when we started this series. Tiger Bats were quiet really in each of the first 3 games, but they busted out with 6 runs on 11 hits today.
It would also give the Tigers 17 victories, which would tie them with the Houston Astros.
Who?
The Houston Astros and the St. Louis Cardinals. How about those Astros?
I'm not believing it. 17 wins for them. That's unbelievable.
17 wins.
I mean, they came in with a 6-game lead in the West. There's a foul straight back.
And I've heard that they've got some stuff in their clubhouse, some pictures or some articles about the Kansas City Royals. I mean, the Royals went from a team last year that wasn't really expected to do a whole lot to a team that got all the way to the World Series. So the Houston Astros, they're believing.
So why not them, they think?
Was that a 6-game lead that I just saw over the Angels?
It was. Swing and a miss. Dyson is out of there.
Wow.
Yeah, they're not just in first place. I mean, they got a nice little early lead here.
And the other teams are struggling.
That will be the 4th strikeout of the game for Sanchez. Here's Colon, the shortstop.
So you buying or you selling?
Well, you know what? I was just about to ask you the same question, so you answer first. It's
no,
away.
I asked the question.
Oh, no, I ain't buying. Sorry, I can't buy.
I think they're going to be competitive, but I don't think they're going to win the division.
You know, Seattle's gone off to a slow start. Many picked them. The Angels, you know, they're still pretty good. I don't know.
The Angels won, what, 90-something games, 96 games last year?
Yeah. They're Houston's a nice story right now. That's a line drive to center and a base hit right in front of Anthony Gose. Hey, why don't we check in with Justin White as we have a moment here, Justin?
Maybe he knows.
I don't, but I can tell you that we have seen another stellar performance from a Tigers starting pitcher today, and you'll hear from Anibal Sanchez coming up right after the game on Tigers Live. I'll also chat with Brad Ausmus and Alex Avila, and Craig Monroe will be with Trevor Thompson inside the Coliseum Studios. Tigers Live right after the game, Mario and Rod.
J-Dub, real quick, is Houston going to win the West?
Oh, no way.
All right.
I ain't buying that at all.
Wallside windows pitching change. Sanchez done. Gorsalani coming in. We'll be back to KC. best start through 24 games in team history. And Jock Peterson, how about that? Youngest Dodger in team history to hit a home run in 4 straight games.
He's a really good-looking young player playing center field for the Los Angeles Dodgers.
All right, the Tigers have gone to the bullpen here as Tom Borzolani checks in now for Detroit. Facing Alex Gordon in a 4-run game. Tigers lead it 6-2. And Gordon rips one to right field. It's going to be short hopped and kicked by J.D. Martinez. Colon going to third. They're going to stop in there, and Gordon will get the second. Boy, Gordon wasting little time. Well, it's getting interesting.
And first pitch fastball that was right down the middle, sitting on the tee for Gordon. He jumped all over it. J.D. Martinez looked like he came in and he was going to try to catch it initially. Then the ball got too close to him and he kicked the ball into foul territory, which allowed Colon to get all the way over to third.
They rule that a double. Second and third. And the Royals showing some late life, and now it's going to have to be the Tigers bullpen to slam the door.
That was the first ever meeting between Gordon and Borzolani.
Here is Mike Moustakas. Ball 1. All of a sudden the Royals have 5 hits now. They are 1 batter away from bringing the tying run to the plate. Numbers on Borzolani this year. And 9th appearance.
ERA is very good at 1.93, 8 strikeouts, 3 base on balls for Borzolani.
It'll get down the left field line, slicing away from Cespedes and out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike on Mike Moustakas, who has been quiet in this game. He is 0 for 3, but those at bats against Anibal Sanchez.
Yeah, we don't want to hear any Moose chants this afternoon. And we don't want to see any Moose heads either.
Lefty-lefty matchup here. Borzolani ready with the 1-1. Bouncing ball right side. Kinsler has it there. That'll get a run in. Moustakas gets his 10th RBI as they score Colon on the play. Two gone now, 6-3. Bring up Kendrys Morales. And he looks at a strike, 0-1. Morales had a walk, scored a run, that was back in the 7th. 2 in the 7th and 1 here in the 8th for KC after they fell behind 6-0 and didn't get their first hit until the 6th. Swing and a miss. 0-2. Morales needs to reach to get Hosmer up there as the tying run.
Hey, you might as well change the eye level of Morales and go upstairs one time firm at about 90 to see if he'll swing through it. It might be too risky to bounce a breaking ball here with a runner on third. Oh, he took it.
Yeah, he did.
What was that?
Of course, Alani was like 3 steps to the dugout. What was this?
Oh. What happened?
I don't know. Down the edge of the zone, but Dale Scott.
Well, you can see where he set up. Dale Scott, he had really no good look at that fastball that was threaded the needle on the outside part of the plate because he set up on the inside portion of home plate. He never got a good look at it.
Meanwhile, 2-2. Orioles going to have to shake that call off. Here comes the sellout crowd starting to make some noise now. Soft line drive into left field, base hit. That'll score another run.
He should have been struck out.
Gordon comes in on the RBI single by Kenrys Morales, and now it's 6-4. And Hosmer coming up as the tying run.
Here's that questionable call, Dale Scott. Take a look at where he's set up on this fastball. This 2-strike fastball. He's on the inside part of the plate. And Gorzolani throws a strike right to Avila's glove, but he doesn't get a good look at it because of where he is set up.
Wow. Well, Gorzolani now will face Hosmer. Still a 2-run lead for the Tigers. Hosmer had a double in his last at-bat. That was against Sanchez. And he looks at a strike, 0-1.
And Gorzolani seeing a lot of these Royals for the very first time. You just have to keep Hosmer in the ballpark. He's homered 3 times this year.
Good block by Avila. That'll hold the runner at first base. RBIs in the inning for Moustakas and Morales. Here's the 1-1. 1-2 now on Hosmer.
Gorzolani's throwing hard here today. Now, I don't know if that gun's hot or not, but that last fastball was 93.
I've heard some rumblings that the gun is a little bit hot here in KC. One and two. Checked it. Strike 3 called. Hosmer is out of there, and Gorzolani strikes him out. He doesn't like it, but the Royals are going to have to settle for 2. They're back in this ball game, though, as we go to the 9th inning. 6-4 Detroit. just 2. And we've got a new pitcher on now for the Royals. That'll be Kelvin Herrera.
And the hard-throwing Kelvin Herrera, he has a fastball that gets up to 100 miles an hour. He throws his changeup at about 90 miles an hour. He also has a slider.
We'll see if the Tigers now can rebuild this lead against Herrera, who was a little bit shaky when he faced the Tigers a couple of nights ago.
And that confrontation between he and Miguel Cabrera, which he won. He struck Miguel out, but it took 10 pitches. That's about as good as it gets.
Tigers have their closer going in the bullpen, Joakim Soria.
The former Royals closer, Joakim Soria.
Here's Avila, who's had a nice day. 3 RBIs for Alex, 2 out of 3. And he looks at a strike from Herrera. 97 on that first fastball.
He's just getting loose.
0 for 9 against Herrera career. However, he did face him in that first game, or the second game I should say, and drew a walk. That was in the 8th inning, and then eventually scored a run. No balls, 1 strike. Avila Castellanos Romine. Bouncing ball slowly. Colon get across the bag over there and throw him out.
Here's that confrontation a couple of nights ago between Herrera and Miguel. It was Friday. It's the final pitch. It's a fastball, and it's up to triple digits, and he threw it right by Miggy. And Miggy, a little smile for Herrera. Until we meet again.
And they will at some point. Here's Castellanos. Herrera missing inside. Nick with a double and 3 at bats. Threw it by him. 1-1. When he first came up, Rod, we looked at Herrera and said, wow, electric arm. If he ever puts it all together, he's going to be something special.
Yeah, and you wonder where he gets it from, because he's not really big in stature. But he's got a fast arm.
He's only 5'10".
Right.
"25 years old, out of the Dominican Republic, Kelvin Herrera."
Baseball very much alive and kicking in Kansas City these days, after the Royals went to the World Series last year. 7th game of the World Series.
Ooh, frozen there.
You get to the ballpark early today and you drive up, and because they've got so much land here, it's so spacious. I mean, people are just out having fun and barbecuing and doing all sorts of fun stuff.
Well, they jumped from 11th in attendance last year to, so far this season, 4th.
Already 6 sellouts, you said, right?
5. This was 5 today. Swing and a miss.
Oh, that's a changeup at 87.
And there are 2 gone now. Fans follow the Tigers all season in 2015 with MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At bat is up to the moment, at any moment, with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcast, StatCast, and more. MLB.com at bat. Get it for your smartphone or your tablet. Here's Romine. 0 for 1 in the game. Took over defensively for Iglesias. Strike call. The 4-game series total here, over 143,000 fans for this 4-game set.
Pretty good.
Yeah, they came out and supported their Royals. And if the Tigers can get 3 more outs, it'll be a split. 0-2 on Romine. Here's the 0-2. Iglesias left the game with some tightness in his groin, so Romine had to come on defensively for him.
And that's good for Brad, getting Iglesias out of the game. Tigers have a scheduled day off tomorrow. And hopefully Jose's good to go on Tuesday in Chicago.
Bouncing ball right side. Routine play there for Infante. And it's going to be a 1-2-3 for Kelvin Herrera. Tigers need to get 3 outs. We go to the bottom of the ninth in KC. Here comes Soria.
For the 3rd time on this road trip in the 5th inning. That gave the Tigers a 6-0 lead, but the last couple of innings, the Kansas City Royals have kind of chipped away at that lead. They scored 3 runs off of Anibal Sanchez, 1 off of Tom Gorzolani, and now we sit at 6-4, bottom half of the 9th inning with Soria on the mound.
There are the numbers. 6-4 in favor of the Tigers. They've out-hit them 11-6. And Joaquin Soria now facing Eric Kratz to lead things off. And he looks at strike 1. Tigers also have made a change at third. Hernan Perez will take over. Castellanos out of the game. Numbers on Mr. Soria.
He used to be the closer here for the Kansas City Royals, and there was a time where he was one of the best closers in the game when he was wearing their uniform.
And judging by the way he's performed here in the early goings for the Tigers, he's getting back to that.
Well, he was the Tigers pitcher of the month, and Alfredo Simon went 4-1 in the month.
Soria 9 for 9 in saves. His career numbers with the Royals, he got 160 saves and made 2 All-Star teams here in Kansas City. So he is used to this mound.
He was a Rule 5 drafted player when the Kansas City Royals first acquired him.
No balls, 2 strikes on Eric Kratz. Omar Infante, Paulo Orlando to follow here in the 9th.
That's why managers sometimes are faced with very difficult decisions regarding their star players. Ned Yost took the catcher out, Salvador Perez, a few innings ago, and now Kratz has had a couple of at-bats. Yes, he did have a sacrifice fly, but you wonder if Ned Yost knew they were going to get to Sanchez, would he have taken Perez out of the game?
I don't think he does, and I really thought that when he took him out, because the score at the time, Rod, was only 6-0.
And Anibal Sanchez was on the mound, and he has absolutely dominated Royals hitters.
He's out in front that time, got a piece to stay alive.
So that's a perfect example of why it's so difficult for managers to take guys out. And we bring that up because we were talking about Victor Martinez, right? And Brad Osman's pinch running for Victor.
So it's Owen, make it 1-2 on the right-handed batting Kratz. There's Infante waiting on deck. Grounded foul, third base side, right in front of Mike Jersley. Tigers got 2 in the 5th, but haven't scored since. And meanwhile, the Royals did all their scoring the last 2 innings, 2 in the 7th, 2 in the 8th. Another foul back out of play. This cracks wastes another. Sanchez, Gorizalani, and Soria today for Detroit. Tigers 3 outs away from cruising back into first place in the Central. Out in front of the breaking ball, roll toward third. Perez in time for the out. 1 away. Here's Omar Infante. Singled in a run back in the 7th. It's fouled back out of play. Let's go down to Justin White. He's got a little bit more on Joakim Soria.
Hey guys, when Joakim Soria trotted into the game a few moments ago, he actually came out of the same bullpen that he used to come out of when he was with the Royals. Apparently the bullpen in right field used to be the home bullpen here until Ned Yost had them change it so he could get a better view of his own relievers.
As we mentioned, thanks J-Dub, but Soria very familiar, but really familiar coming out of the same bullpen. No balls, 2 strikes. Keep in mind that Ned Yost today does not have Lorenzo Cain, who started his suspension today, so that's a main weapon off his bench. 0-2. So Soria must be feeling right at home here, pitching on the same mound and in the same bullpen that he used to reside in when he pitched for the Royals.
He's been here for 4 days. I'm sure he's seen some really good friends that he has here in the area, and I'd be shocked if he hasn't eaten at his favorite restaurant here in Kansas City.
The 1-2. Ground ball towards short, backhanded stop. Romine. His throw is dug out by Miggy.
Do it, Andrew. I see you.
Well, tip of the cap to Miggy as well, and that's what Andrew says. Nice pick.
He is steady at the shortstop position, and he played a lot of games last year. Everything that he gets to, he catches, and he's got enough arm strength, and he's accurate enough to throw the ball on the fly most of the time over to first base. But that time, he bounced it, and he needed a little bit of help from Miguel Cabrera, who we pointed out earlier in the game has been sensational at first base this year.
So the Royals down to their final chance now. Paulo Orlando, they need a base hit to bring the tying run to the plate, but the guy on deck doesn't have a whole lot of power. That would be Dyson. That's it for a strike. 0-1. 6-4. Tigers have the lead with 2 outs in the 9th. Soria trying to make this as drama free as possible. Tipped into the glove for strike 2. It was Paulo Orlando that got the first hit of the game for the Royals. It was a perfect 5 innings for Anibal Sanchez today, and then they finally got a hit to lead off the 6th. Just had one of those feels of Sanchez getting on a roll and maybe, just maybe, a shot at a no-hitter, but that was short-circuited. Line to right field and caught by Martinez for the final out of the ball game.
It's going to be like this all year long. Tigers against the Kansas City Royals. They're going to be some really competitive games.
Tigers a winner here today by a score of 6-4, back in first place. We'll be back.